I'd like to call the South Union Township regular monthly meeting for the month of April to order. We're going to stand for a silent prayer and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With a roll call, Mr. Schiffmeyer.
Here.
Mr. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Vernon here. Before we go any farther, we want to amend our agenda to add another, we'll make it 4A. It's going to be a resolution to approve modification of our community development block grant program for the year 2013, 14, and 15. So this time, we don't need to do any kind of...
Just need a motion to amend the,
Motion to amend. Okay.
or motion to add an item to the agenda.
Okay. I'll move that item to the agenda. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Scott. Roll call, Mr. Vernon, yes. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Schiff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of South Union Township, Fayette County, approving a modification of the Community Development Block Grant Program for the fiscal year 2013, 2014, and 2015. Do I need to read the whole thing?
No, you can make a copy. We already had a hearing on it within the last few minutes. You'll need to make a copy of it for the minutes and ask for any comments from the public since it's an addition to the agenda.
Any comments on this addition to the agenda? None? Okay. I need a second on my amendment on this resolution.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Scott. Any question on the motion? Roll call. Mr. Vernon, yes. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Schiff?
Yes.
Motion carries. So we're going on number 5, Roadmaster's Report. I'll handle that. For the month of March, we hauled compost to our compost center behind 84 Lumber 7 days. We patched the following streets with Coal Patch, Wade and Smith Drive, Brownfield Lane, Long Ridge Road, bottom of Womack Street off of Dixon Boulevard, Virginia Circle and Elizabeth Street, Albert Street, and Highland Drive off of Wiggins Lane. Also, we did snow removal 5 days for the month of March, and we worked on a sheepskin trail 8 days during the month. Also, we repaired yards that we went into on plowing snow on an alley off of Connor Street. We had 3 yards, and we had off of the cul-de-sac on Brandywine Road off of Heritage Hills Road. We went off to the front of their yard. We just fixed it yesterday. And we delivered 52 recycling cans to our residents who asked for them. We ran out. So if anybody else needs a recycling can, please call us. We'll have it delivered to you. Worked on a couple items at the Orford Playground that needed repaired and painted. And we opened the parks and then the restrooms at both Hutchinson and Orford Park. And we picked up litter on Santa Marie Drive, Cinder Road, Brownfield Lane, Synergy Drive, Duck Hollow, and Matthew Drive. We replaced an inlet. We finished it up today, but we started in the end of March on Dual Drive off of Bryson Plant. And we started cleaning our plow trucks. We're going to put them on hold to see what happens this weekend. That concludes my Roadmaster's report. If there's anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Scott?
No, sir.
Mr. Schiff?
I have nothing further.
Okay. Then we'll go on to item number 6, Sewage Department report. Mr. Scott, you handle that?
Yes, sir. Sewage report for the month of March. We did start painting the Route 21 pump station. It's in progress now. We had the steps removed. We were replacing the steps at Route 21. We had no issues at the other 2 pump stations, Valley View and Salem Heights. We had 133 one calls, 14 service calls, and 3 new tap inspections. We did do smoke testing in the Hopwood area, and we're going to continue to do smoke testing. We advertise in the paper. We also put door knockers on to let you know when we're doing the smoke testing. If you have any questions, the number's on there. It's 724-438-8333. You can call with any questions. We're just trying to find out, trying to resolve some of our I&I issues. for the stormwater getting into the sanitary sewer. We did close the yearly discount program. We've got 1,453 participants. We're also doing our GIS. We're trying to get it finished up. And we had new computers installed in the office we went all green. We're now, all our invoices are on the electronic format in the computers, so we did do that. Do you have anything, Mr. Over, you'd like to add about the sewage?
The only thing I would like to add is that relative to the I&I, the Greater Uniontown Joint Sewage Authority has received a quote from their engineer to basically do a complex and comprehensive I&I study of the entire system, not just South Union, but incorporate all interceptors of North Union, South Union, and the city of Uniontown, so that we have a functional base plan as to how things are going. I know we have some conversion pipe and restrictions in the system that's probably causing some issues for South Union Township, and we need to know how that's all functioning. So that proposal's been submitted to the Greater. And I hope within the next month or so that we adopt the proposal and move forward with that study. So,
Along with the other two municipalities, we've been saying since we took the sewage authority over last January that we need to get some sort of comprehensive plan together. We know we have issues, and we're taking the steps to correct the issues that we do have. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me or our office manager, Maxine, over at the sewage office. We can hopefully answer any questions you would have. That concludes my sewage report for the month of March.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Any questions, anything else you want to add,
No.
Mr. Shepherd? Thank you, Mr. Scott. We'll go on to item number 7, Code Enforcement Officer's Report. I'll handle that. For the month of March, we do have one full-time employee works from 7 to 3:30, and also have a part-time employee who works 3 days a week from 7 to 3:30. And we have 3 gentlemen who work in the evenings and on weekends. So we're covered almost at least till 11 o'clock every night. Letters sent out by a code officer for property repairs was 7. We had 3 junk vehicles for the month of March, 2 dog complaints. Burning complaints, we had 3. Again, you can only burn from 8 to 5, and then on Saturday it has to be a controlled blaze. Someone has to be there watching at all times. High grass and weeds, we had none. Quad complaints, we had 2 official complaints. Then we had citations issued by our code officer was 21 for the month of March, and no zoning violations this month. Our full-time officer and our part-time day officer traveled 1,126 miles throughout the township, and our part-time officers in the evening and on weekends traveled 1,412 miles for a total of 2,538 miles traveled throughout the township. Also, our officers gave out 6 fire lane tickets and 2 for handicap parking. That concludes my report. If anybody else wants to add anything to it, Mr. Shepherd? Mr. Scott?
No, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let's go on to item number 8. Motion to approve minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
Moved by Mr. Shepherd, we have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Scott. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, Mr. Shepherd.
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries. Comments on the agenda items. Does anybody have any comments on our agenda items? If none, then we move on to number 9. Or number 10, I'm sorry. Sheepskin Trail Progress Report, Mr. Shepherd, been on that from day one. You want to give us an update, Mr.
Yeah,
Shepherd?
Ed, I really don't have all that much to report. That we're way ahead of schedule that we set originally with the construction of the trail, simply because of the continued break with the weather. And we're shooting to officially have the trail in operation sometime by the latter part of June, early July. And just one other thing, we have the trail virtually complete in some of the sections already. And one of the sections that concerns us a little bit is the portion of the trail that runs through the Uniontown Country Club golf course. I know there's some traffic on the trail. We have to install a golf netting device that runs along the edge of the driving range. And we're asking anybody who has been using or would like to use that portion of the trail for their walk or biking that please refrain from using that until we get the netting up, and hopefully that'll take place in the next month or so. But that's all I have to report for the report on the issues control.
Thank you, Mr. Schipper. Mr. Scott, anything you'd like to add to it?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's go to number 11. We need a motion to advertise to adopt the floodplain ordinance. We have an engineer with us this afternoon. Could you explain that to the public for us?
Yes,
Mr. Over?
over the last several years, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has, the old floodplain maps are 20-plus years old, and they have basically revised those maps, and they make a lot more sense if you look at them relative to the contours of the land. Some of the old maps, they crossed over contours, one side was different than the other. Well, these make a lot more sense, and they're a lot more detailed than they were before. So as part of the new FEMA floodplain maps, the federal government and the Federal Emergency Management Agency is asking that each affected municipality adopt a new regulatory ordinance relative to those maps and other issues relative to the building code for people that erect structures within the floodplain itself. They're not saying you can't, but you can't affect the floodplain, and there are certain things you have to do. So this ordinance is basically meeting the requirements of the Federal Emergency Management Agency's firm maps that are being adopted. And this must be done, or it's going to affect anybody that's if there's anybody affected by a flood and the township doesn't adopt this, then there won't be any emergency money available to it. So it affects your program if you don't adopt this ordinance. So, and this must be done by September.
Thank you, Mr. Over. Do we have a motion to advertise to adopt the floodplain ordinance, gentlemen? Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
I'll make a motion.
Motion to adopt the floodplain ordinance?
Yes.
We have a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
Now, by Mr. Schipper. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Schipper?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries. Going to number 12. I'd like to make a little comment before we make that motion. Past practice, and I was a district judge for 24 years, and also before I even became a district judge, 24 years, I've been here 12 years. South Union Township has permitted the Uniontown Mall security to handle the parking problems at the Uniontown Mall. We permitted them to issue parking tickets for our parking ordinances only. So at this time, we want to update the officers at the mall for our parking ordinance. And so I make a motion to add the following individuals from Uniontown Mall security as part-time code enforcement officers for South Union Township to handle our parking ordinance only. And it would be Michael Holt, Lewis Perry, Dennis Chips, John Edwards, Bernard Zalepka, Robert Phillips, and Todd Martin. That'd be my motion to approve.
I'll second Mr. Burns' motion.
Any questions on the motion? Roll call, Mr. Vernon, yes. Mr. Schiffbar?
Yes.
And Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 13 is comments from the public. Do we have any big comments today? Like to make a comment in the public? Vernon, you want to come up?
Just a question about the last.
Okay, you want to just give us your name so everybody knows? We know you, but so everybody knows you in the township.
Bernie Quirk, is there any, are we paying anything for these part-time code officers? Is that just a,
It doesn't cost them. The mall pays for them.
okay, so it's
Yeah,
just
the mall
doesn't,
pays.
that they can,
They just help us with the parking, the mall parking only, that's all.
okay.
That's
So
all
they
there's
just enforce the
restricted
laws,
to.
but we don't have to pay them anything?
No.
Okay, that's all I was concerned about. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, let's go on then to 14, our financial statement, our treasurer.
Chairman, reports follow here. The general fund checking account, $353,887.80. General fund invested account, $179,421.99. State fund, $472,581.95. Hydrant fund, $3,368.61. Athletic fund, $6,580.96. The payroll fund, $8,335.75. Sheepskin Trail Fund, $81,213.12. The North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $23,361.23. And the Recycling Fund, $16,972.26, for a grand total of $1,145,723.67. From the Sewage Fund, $2,331,491.10. And adding all the funds up that I have just read, totaling $3,477,214.77.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Okay, we're going to item number 15, the motion to pay all current bills. Mr. Secretary? Mr.
I'd like to
Scott?
make a motion to pay the bills from the North Union, South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $5,950. From the State Fund, $16,385.31. From the Recycling Fund, $3,890.94. The Sheepskin Trail Fund, $20,526.07. The Hydrant Fund, $3,838. The Athletic Fund, $4,395.23. From the Sewage Fund, $168,577.42. And from the General Fund checking account, $298,127.53. That's my motion to pay the current bills.
Motion, Mr. Scott, do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
Second by Mr. Schiffer. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Schiffer.
Yes.
And Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries. We're going now to item number 16, our engineer from K2 Engineering, Mr. Schroeder is the president of it. You have any comments today? What's going on in our township engineering wise?
A lot of rain recently, but that's everywhere. I actually have nothing further other than what we've already discussed, unless somebody from the public or any of the supervisors have any additional questions.
We do have a new building going up on Route 40 next to Dairy Queen.
We do, between Dairy Queen and Sheets, it's a dental office that's going to be owned by the family that owns the Sheets, and I believe it's going to be an Aspen Dental. So
That's anything we can think of at this time for
that's
March.
about it, other than UPMC that we already talked about once
Exactly.
last month.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Schiffer?
Oh, I
Mr. Scott?
Nope.
Okay. This goes to number 17, our solicitor, Mr. Davis from Davis & Davis. Mr. Jim Davis, that is.
Well, I thought the board should be aware, and the public as well, that the Tower Access Group appealed the decision of the zoning hearing board. We, on behalf of the township, that is our firm, intervened, and we sent the intervention notice in a timely manner. I spoke to counsel for Tower Access. I suspect that they'll file a motion for a scheduling order, and then at that point we will file the necessary documents challenging the appeal that they have made to the denial by the zoning hearing board of their request for a special exception.
Mr. Davis, will you explain to the public what happens after they file their answer, you file the answer? Is there a hearing scheduled?
There will be a hearing unless the court decides to review it on the transcript that was made at the hearing held before the zoning hearing board. But the parties can supplement that transcript to some extent.
Right.
Of course, I participated on behalf of the Township Supervisors, and we had our engineer who really helped us a great deal in that challenging the request that they had made for the special exception. At that time, there was a group of South Union Township residents that had their own counsel that participated as well.
But you're on record representing the township at this time.
Oh, yeah.
You made your appearance.
I was on record at the zoning hearing board in which I participated, and I'm on record in the Court of Common Pleas as well.
You know, I think it should be further stated for the record that, we have opposed this tower, the Board of Supervisors, since day one. And through our solicitor, we have taken the maximum action through the legal system to oppose and still try to stop the construction of the tower. And there's some confusion out there as far as the public, but we have done what we could possibly do, and we will continue to do that.
And that's correct, Mr. Schiffbauer, if I might add a comment to that. And we did intervene, which is the way you do that. Once they file an appeal from the action of the zoning hearing board, the only way you can participate is through the intervention, and we did file our intervention in a timely manner. And I'll report, hopefully in the next meeting, we'll have something to say about that. We'll see what happens with, once we get the scheduling order.
And if it doesn't go in our favor, we're going to use the maximum appeals process that does exist under the law.
And I understand, I have my marching orders, so I'm ready to march.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, Mr. Schiffbauer. Anything else? Mr. Davis, is that,
That's all I have, unless any of the supervisors have questions.
you covered everything good, well today for us. Number 18 on the agenda, the adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 4:22.
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
Second by Mr. Schiffbauer, roll call, Mr. Scott
Yes.
and Mr. Schiffbauer.
Yeah.
Very yes. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much.